So picture this. You're driving past a massive open field, and instead of grass, there are just mountains of electric bicycles.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just thousands of them, right?
Yeah, thousands of perfectly good e-bikes just piled high and completely rusting in the sun. It genuinely looks like a glitch in reality.
It really does. And well, today we're doing a deep dive into a pretty intense, definitely controversial YouTube video that kind of uses that image to explain a tragic phenomenon in China, which is dubbed revenge against society attacks.
Right. And, we should say right up front, we aren't here to endorse the video's politics or anything. We're just acting as your neutral guides to unpack the, honestly, wild societal mechanics it claims are causing this horrific violence.
Exactly. Because the video traces these really massive tragic events back to some surprisingly everyday origins. It shows how a chain reaction of frustration builds up when there's literally nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, because that jarring visual of the e-bikes, I mean, it isn't just an environmental issue, according to the source. It's the first domino in a very, very dark chain reaction. People rely on those bikes just to survive.
Oh, absolutely. They're essential.
Right, so imagine putting like half of your salary into a bike for your delivery job, and then overnight it's declared illegal, it's seized right from your home, and you get absolutely zero compensation.
I mean, it's a stark example of what happens in a system that just completely lacks a public voice.
Mm-hmm.
The source uses this e-bike ban to show, what happens when abrupt policy changes hit citizens who are completely powerless to push back.
Because if you try to protest locally, what happens?
Well, according to the video, attempting to protest in your own city gets you physically stopped pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And any trace of your complaint is just scrubbed from the internet. You essentially disappear digitally and physically.
So local pushback is impossible, which means people have to funnel all that frustration into the centralized bureaucracy, right? The video talks about this constitutional right to petition the government in Beijing, which leads to these massive, endless lines.
Yeah, thousands of people just waiting.
But wait, hold on. If this petitioning system is like a known dead end, why are people wasting years of their lives standing in line? That just doesn't make logical sense to me.
Well, the video explains that it really comes down to a deep-seated cultural belief, one that's actually fostered by the system itself.
Oh, really? How so?
It's the idea that, sure, maybe the local officials are corrupt, but the central government in Beijing is benevolent. Like, they'll fix things if they only hear the truth. So citizens travel for days, especially during major political meetings, just hoping to finally reach someone at the top.
That is heartbreaking, honestly.
It is. But the source highlights a horrific anecdote showing how this usually ends. There was this man who rammed a front-end loader into a crowded Beijing market, killing over a dozen people.
Just awful.
Yeah, and when he was finally stopped, police found a stack of petitioning papers on his dashboard that was like centimeters thick.
Oh, wow. So he tried using the official channels probably for years and just got absolutely nowhere.
Right. Because in a society that currently lacks robust social safety nets or independent charities, that petitioning office in Beijing provides a necessary, albeit entirely false, illusion of hope for people who have lost everything.
And when that stack of petitions fails and that illusion of hope shatters, the source points out that the despair doesn't just fade away. It metastasizes into extreme violence.
Yeah, we're talking about a terrifying rise in mass vehicular homicides and stabbings.
But here's the thing I wanted to ask about. If the anger is against the system, why target innocent people? And specifically, why are we seeing these attacks targeting schoolchildren?
So the source breaks down a very grim cultural logic here. In this specific family structure, a child isn't just a beloved family member. They are essentially a family's social blanket and, well, their entire retirement fund.
Wait, their retirement funds?
Yeah, parents and grandparents pour absolutely all their resources into a single child to secure their own future. It's everything to them.
Oh, I see. So by targeting the kids, the attacker is inflicting the maximum possible damage to the actual fabric of that community.
Exactly. Destroying a child is viewed, in this context, as destroying a family's entire future and legacy. So it becomes the ultimate, most devastating revenge someone can enact against society itself.
Man, the core takeaway from this source is incredibly heavy. But it's clear a system that suppresses grievances without offering any functional release valve ultimately breeds desperate violence.
It really does make you look at mundane institutions differently, doesn't it? I mean, we complain about bureaucracy all the time.
Oh, constantly, yeah.
But the ability to, take someone to small claims court, write a letter to a local paper, or just have basic legal recourse, Those are the actual pressure valves keeping a society from fracturing.
They really are. They keep those mountains of rusting bicycles from turning into something much, much worse. Which I think leaves us with this to think about. If a society's order relies entirely on suppressing frustration rather than actually resolving it, what happens when the cost of silencing the public becomes higher than the cost of simply listening to them?